Painting trees in watercolor can be intimidating, so in this video I wanted to show you my process of how I paint trees in just a couple of steps. Here we go. Step 1, the skeleton. I'm showing you this process first in a pen and then in paint. So my skeleton starts with a broken trunk line and then branches coming off of that trunk line that start smaller and get larger the more I go down. So I'm going to show you another skeleton where the branches are going generally up instead of down. And you can see I'm starting at that broken trunk line and then having these little branches come out in kind of like a cone overall shape. Now for the paint, same process. We're doing a broken trunk and then having the skeleton of the lines, the branches come out. Now with this paint, in order to work this small and have pretty fine detail, my watercolor paint is not very watery. If we think of consistency of other liquids we're familiar with, cream is the best example I can give. So not too much water here. Okay, we have the skeleton. Step 2 is dots and squiggles. So with my brush, I'm doing these little dots and squiggles to be the foliage on the branches. So I'm putting back in my skeleton, putting back in my little branch lines, and then generally over top of those branch lines, I'm letting my hand shake and move over that page and do little dots and squiggles following the skeleton that I made in step 1. Now let's try this with paint. Again, I'm going to put in my skeleton and make sure that my paint is not too watery. Put in my skeleton of the branches. And then while it's still wet, I dot over with my foliage. And again, it's super important here that your watercolor is not too watery. I'm repeating it myself because I think that's probably the most important advice here. If it's too watery, it's going to clump and bead together and you won't be able to define any foliage shapes on your trees. Let's try it again where the skeleton is having branches that are going up. I'm dotting and squiggling. Maybe I decided in the moment to add another branch area or not to go over one of my little branch squiggles and to leave that a bare branch. But in general, this is a pretty consistent full pine tree. Now, before I show you the next step for these trees, I want to show you an alternative. There's so many ways to paint trees, and I want to show you if you want to do a tree line in the background of your painting where you're actually not defining much detail because they're all just in this back tree line. This is what I'm doing now. I have waterier paint, and then I'm just doing these general vertical lines that all touch each other. And this is to show the trees being different heights, maybe even different distances, but it is one continuous tree line. I might go in with different types of greens to have some variation. I'm kind of playing around with these shapes and having them be maybe like cone shapes or just little lines, depending on how far back you want these trees to be. Then once you're happy with the spread of those trees, while it's wet, I dip my brush in water and run it along the bottom, and that kind of grounds them and gives this little ground that the trees are coming out of. Okay, while that tree line is drying, I'm taking a dark green or a dark blue, and on my branch shapes, I'm adding in some shadow. Now, if we think about what a tree actually looks like, now obviously with shadow, that is where the sun is being blocked by the object. So the shadow is going to be placed below the branches. So in general, I'm trying to put that shadow color on the bottom part of each branch and foliage section. You do not have to add in shadow as your step. You could end with just step 2, and those are lovely trees. I have fun adding in shadow, so I like to do that. I'm taking that same dark color and dotting in that dark color to my tree line, not going all the way to the top. You can see I'm kind of stopping at the halfway point of these trees, just to suggest that there's some depth and shadow there as well. I use that strategy for doing tree lines in most paintings of landscapes that I do. All right, now I'm going to take this process and show you how I paint trees that are bigger and trees that I would put maybe at the foreground of a landscape painting. So, step 1 is the skeleton. I'm putting in those broken trunks, and I'm spacing out how far the trees are from each other. Some of them are going to overlap, some of them are going to stand out. And I'm also changing up how tall these trees are. Now, for this first one, instead of doing the skeleton of the branches, I'm going straight in with step 2, which is my dots and squiggles. And I am using those dots and squiggles to put those branches in. You can, I kind of alternate how I paint trees. Sometimes I like to plan out where my branches go so I don't just have them all spaced the same. Sometimes I like to just go straight in with the dots and squiggles, and that's good enough. I'm also showing you how I use different colors of green to get a varied effect. And I'm showing you how I have variation in the direction of this foliage. So in this second tree, it's a little bit greener compared to the bluer first one. And my branches are generally going vertically, or not vertically, they're going up instead of drooping down. For this third one, I'm going to show you the complete process where I'm putting in the skeleton of my branches and then adding in my dots and squiggles. When you're doing your dots and squiggles, feel free to adjust how tall you want your tree to be. Sometimes I like to add in just a really delicate little top of the tree with just the very tip of my brush. Again, we don't want super watery paint. These are about double the size of my original examples on the top of the page, so I can get away with slightly waterier paint because all of my brushstrokes are just a little bigger, but I really encourage you to play around with the liquidity, that's not right, the liquidness of your paint. And bad news, folks, to paint trees and to get better at painting trees, you literally just have to practice. And that's like the boring answer. And I generally don't want to like practice a skill. I just want to do a freaking painting, you know what I mean? But if you're serious about wanting to learn to paint trees and feel confident with them, you just have to play around with it. Take a sketchbook and just fill up page after page of trees and see where that gets you. And it'll probably be pretty far because as you practice, especially the consistency of the paint and how much liquid you have on your brush, you're going to just see such great results with your trees. Okay, I sped this process up. This whole page took me 20 minutes, so I don't want you to assume that, oh, I'm painting this tree so quickly. You must be able to paint a tree super quickly. No, this is sped up, double speed. So make no mistake, this is not a super quick process, but again, this whole page was 20 minutes, so it wasn't like a crazy time consuming process. Okay, now it's time for my shadow color. Again, we're going on the undersides of these foliage areas generally and adding in these dots of shadow. Now I'm doing a darker green blue for this one. I'm kind of taking what color originally was on these trees and then making the darker version of this by adding in an indigo or a Payne's gray or a brown, whatever kind of vibe I want. You can also see I'm taking my brush and making that little ground area that the trees are growing out of. And while it's still wet and while I'm painting, I'll just continue to add shadow color down there as I want. And then I'll just build that up as we go. You can see I sped this up again. I'm pointing this out because sometimes when I see people paint on social media or YouTube, I know in my brain that they are not painting that fast, that this is a time lapse, maybe even all the way up to 10 times speed. And and I know that, but when I'm painting, I feel the pressure to rush because I want to be able to paint it as quickly as I'm seeing, and that just doesn't match reality. So the comparison game can be pretty miserable with social media. So just know you can go as slow as you want, right? So you don't need to speed through this process. And as you're getting comfortable with painting trees, the honestly, the only reason I'm speeding this up is because I've shown this process on 9 trees on this page, and I don't think you need to see it at normal speed every single time. Okay, I think I'm belaboring the point, but I just do want to point out that, like, I've been a beginner not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, like, I don't know, 8 years. And you don't need to judge yourself based on the editing software of the artists you follow. Okay, I want you to notice this second to last tree. The way I did the shadow makes it look really weirdly symmetrical in ways that organic trees just don't look. So I'm going back in and adding the super little touches here and there just to kind of break up the symmetry because that was bothering me. Okay, so we have our cute little forest here. And the last thing I want to show you is what I would do if I wanted to add in snow. So I'm using this white watercolor, or you can use white gouache. And where we put shadow on the bottom of the branches, I put the snow on the tops of the branches. So it's like you're sandwiching the branch with white on top and the shadow below. There are, again, lots of different ways to paint snow with watercolor. This is what I like to do. Those are some different ways I would finish off painting foreground trees by either adding that shadow or adding some snow, sticking a bird on there. I'm not doing birds in this one, but that's another finishing touch. All right, I'm splattering some white there so that you can see what it would look like for a little snowy landscape. And there we go. Just a couple of steps to paint some cute trees. I hope you try this out. Paint 100,000 trees on all the paper you got until you feel confident with it, and then go forth and make some landscapes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.